Welcome to Hip Shot, the stripped-down anime what-if series where narrative comes first. There's a link at the top of the description to skip ahead. Normally a weekly series, this bonus installment is a celebration and thank you to my 18 subscribers. Jeremy Schlurf, MK the Hedgehog, Fabian Stichelmans, and everyone else whose names YouTube won't let me see. Thank you also to my commenters, the Froggy God of Destruction, Joel Amorca, Lorenzo Delion, Shiny Umbreon LP, Cyborg Piggy, Ace Hardy, Emma Roderick, and Harvey Heron. Let's go. Now in this reality, Kai was still adopted by the Yakuza boss, but instead of his ego getting out of control and disabling the Yakuza boss, he's sent to UA to learn how to develop his abilities and leadership, without becoming, sociopathic. Now his adoptive father might have some power, but not enough to get Kai in based on recommendation alone. So he would have to partake in the entrance exam just like, well, most everybody in the series. He wouldn't really make waves during the opening ceremony, content simply with passing it. Kai would ignore the insults that he was a little old to be joining, although he would nearly start and, let's be honest, finish a fight, as another entrant brushed against him as they walked out to the practical exam grounds. As the signal sounded, Kai dashed straight down the main road, baiting any robot enemies he could find to attack. He would come upon several enemies and deconstruct them with his quirk, reconstructing them as steel barricades to prevent other entrants from moving in to assist or hinder him. They would complain about his lack of sportsmanship, to which he'd reply,
"You're just angry because I wouldn't let you take my points. Sharing isn't necessary to clean up a mess."
Some of the faster and long-ranged heroes like Ida and Aoyama would still get their points, but Kai would reconstruct the battlegrounds to prevent as many interruptions as possible. Ochako would get a few points in since her quirk would help her traverse the terrain, but Deku would be in even worse shape than in canon, as he simply tried to spot an enemy amongst all the chaotic battlements. Finally, the boss robot would be triggered, and the entrants would start fleeing, even less motivated to fight it now that they had no points. That is, except for Kai, and Deku, who was trying to help Ochako out from beneath the rubble. "Help me free her, it should be no problem for you, right? Then we can get out of here."
"Get out of here?"
Kai would ask, stepping past them both towards the boss.
"What's the point in that, when I can cure the problem right now?"
Kai would reach out as the boss neared them, and feel a force field block him. His eyes flaring with rage, Kai would watch as panels opened on the boss's body, revealing laser cannons as they glowed, preparing to fire.
"No good. Lasers are too fast."
Kai's glare would only be broken by a speeding shadow overhead as Deku leapt dozens of feet into the air and over the barrier to land a smash in the boss's robo-face. Like in canon, Deku would plummet towards the ground, saved at the last second by a gravitational bitch slap from Ochako. He would crumple to the ground, 3 limbs broken, desperate to get at least 1 point as Kai stood in awe of the boss's wreck, having finally found something he couldn't reduce to atoms. They would both be knocked from their obsessions by the buzzer, and Kai would glance at the helpless boy on the ground, who had just done what he could not.
"It's not much,"
he would finally say, stooping down beside Midoriya and touching his hand. An instant of unimaginable pain would flash through Deku before Kai walked away, and Deku rose from the ground, not just healed, but something else too. He would call out a thank you, asking what Kai had done.
"I just returned your muscles to normal and increased your bone density. Don't know if it'll hold up to your quirk, though."
Deku would try to thank him again after taking in the young man's words, but it was too late. He was gone. Thank you again for helping me build my channel, and I hope I'm providing you content that you enjoy. If I am, flip those like and subscribe switches. I'm going to release 1,000 quality videos this year, and I want them to be something you enjoy consuming. So if you want another part to this narrative, I'll make one at 10 likes or maybe a comment or 2. so that I'm only doing multi-part narratives that you actually want. And on that topic, part 2 of What Would Happen If Deku Went Dark is coming out tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. EST, because the world revolves around New York. But most importantly, as always, thank you for making history with me.